Hey friends, so welcome to DVC Inc. Live. We have a book birthday today. Super excited about that. Book birthdays are always a fun day. And we are streaming from Facebook and YouTube. So if you're joining us from either platform, we are so excited that you're here today. Please do leave us a comment over in the comment section. Let us know who you are, where you're from, what you do. And later tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., we will choose one of the comments to win a free book of choice for DVC Inc. from DVC Inc. So it's great if you can put anything over in the comment section as we're talking today, because that is your entry to win a free book of your choice. So we have a book birthday. We're excited to bring this book to the world, and we're also giving away a book. It's kind of like our little party favor for joining us. So Mia is here today. She is the author of our brand new book, Building Blocks, Building Blocks for Tiny Techies.
Yes.
And it's all about littles and technology, and what a perfect opportunity to have a resource like this to put out into the world, where we have so many teachers using technology in many different ways, face-to-face, hybrid, all the different ways, completely remote. And so we have this beautiful resource by Mia. But before we get started, Mia, for anyone who doesn't already know who you are, please do tell everyone who you are, what you do, and tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, thank you so much. So my name is Mia Leonard. I formerly taught kindergarten in the Chicago public school system for 10 years. And in my classroom, I was one-to-one iPads with my littles. And I really explored how you can just go beyond the basics and the drill and kill and skill-based apps. And I really put that technology in the hands of my little ones and allowed them to explore and create. They just did amazing things. So I started to having them create and do more innovative things with technology more and more. And as the years went on, I started to learn from them and from colleagues as well, and just started integrating more innovative practices into my classroom instructions. And that's kind of how that book got here. Currently, I am working at Seesaw, which is one of the tools that I love to use with my little ones when I was in the classroom. But currently, I'm working with Seesaw to teach and educate districts and educators all over the world about the power of technology with all of their students. Hello, I see some of my friends joining me. Hi, Jessie. Hi, Erin.
Yes.
Hi, Ebony.
We're so excited to have so many people joining us for the book birthday. And Mia, I just love that you just empowered your littles and helped them to feel like they are capable, because they are. And then you later talk about how they were teaching you. And I think that's really an important piece. A lot of times I think as educators, we're a little fearful to try something new. Maybe not so much after 2020. No, I'm just kidding. But in general, we're a little fearful to try something new, especially with 5-year-olds.
Yes.
The truth,
and it's understandable. As educators, there's so much on our plate, not just like the day-to-day of teaching. You have planning and everything that goes behind that. So even, yes, kind of like stepping outside of your comfort zone is one thing that might make you a little bit apprehensive, but also just the time. And so that's why with this book, I wanted to take a kind of A to Z approach. So it builds on one another, but at the same time, you can start from anywhere. So if you are looking for how to marry technology with a storytelling, we have a chapter on that. If you're starting from the basics and you're looking for how to set up, your devices for your students, which apps to use, we have chapters on that. If you're looking for whatever you have in mind, you can kind of start anywhere from the book to pull and have it meet the needs of you and your students.
That's awesome. I think this resource is very powerful in many ways. But I'm curious, Mia, one of the things our readers, listeners, for those that are watching or listening to the show tonight, like to know is what inspired you to want to write this book particularly?
Yes, I know as an educator, I often look for professional development opportunities and resources that just help me support my implementation of technology in the classroom. And I often found that difficult to find, especially for the littlest learners. Like I would
Mhm.
go to conferences, and there are a ton of resources for what older children could do, but not necessarily what the littlest learners can do. Even just having the fight to kind of get technology in my classroom initially. You know, oftentimes administrators are apprehensive. There's this constant debate about screen time with the little ones. So I wanted to not only provide this resource, but really talk about how you can marry it with um, those solid teaching and learning practices, that pedagogy that you are doing in the classroom, how you can really do this in a way that's developmentally appropriate for our little ones and turn them into tiny techies, as I like to call
I
them.
love it. I love it. And I think you've done a beautiful job of it. So I think maybe listeners or readers might want to know, is this more of a step-by-step guide, or you talked a little bit about how you wanted to help advocate for even getting technology into the classroom. So tell us a little bit about the layout of the book.
Yes, so it's called Building Blocks for Tiny Techies, and it really, each chapter does build upon each other. So there are different sections in the book. So a section on getting started, all the way up to actually marrying content and specific curriculum with technology. However, this book is for anyone, whether you're a novice just getting started, or whether you've been using technology for a while and you're looking for some new and exciting ways to integrate it. But you can really start from anywhere, and that was kind of my thought process, knowing as being a teacher and with the number of responsibilities that we don't have a lot of time to sit down and actually read. So I wanted to make sure that it was useful, and you can take those nuggets as you need them from where you need them in the book.
So cool. And that's not usually the case for most books. You have to read them in a certain order. But you're saying, if you look at the table of contents and you find something that's interesting to you, just dive into that chapter, go check it out, because what you need for that piece is all right there in that chapter. Correct?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying, Tara.
And I think
Yeah.
that's just such a beautiful thing about this resource. And it's different than other resources, we've published. So if you're out there and you're a kindergarten teacher, Mia gets you. She knows you have little people running around needing everything, but you
Mhm.
want to learn some stuff. So here's an opportunity to just learn at a pace that's comfortable for you, and know that you can take that full nugget all the way out in a 10-15 minute reading session and actually apply it into your classroom tomorrow. So one of the things, Mia, that I would love for you to be able to share is just maybe one of your favorite strategies. Let's just put the little hook out there with a worm and see if we can catch a few fish with this one.
So one of the things that I always tell educators and specific primary age teachers when they are looking to integrate technology in the classroom is not necessarily looking to the tool, but looking to the task. And thinking about the objective and what the outcome is for that lesson. I would approach planning, implementing technology like I would approach teaching, making sure that I have my students in mind, I have the objective in mind, and really thinking about like, would this piece of technology enhance what I'm doing for this specific lesson? If it doesn't, it's okay. But if it does, then definitely that is what I would go with, and figuring out kind of how to marry that with what I'm doing. So, for example, in terms of writing for early childhood students, they are just learning how to write. They are in the early stages of writing development and reading as well. They are learning their letters, their sounds. They are learning in writing how to put those together to write words. They're learning how to form letters. They need to think about when they're writing, how to synthesize their ideas. So how can we use technology to support this? So there are a ton of accessible tools with technology that you can use, microphones and videos, to allow little ones to record their ideas and their thinking and their sentence, and to kind of replay that to help support that writing process in terms of of storytelling. How can we use technology to enhance the storytelling process and help students deeper comprehend the meaning of the story and what they are reading. So whether that is using green screen to superimpose those little ones into the story and to retell and to sequence, or to take pictures and use cool apps like ChatterPix to talk from the character's perspective. So doing things like that, which are taking the different things that you already do, the fundamentals and that great teaching and learning and those things that students need, and marrying that with the technology, because the little ones love it. They're digital natives. They love the technology. And so they get excited about it when they get to use those devices, and really using it in an impactful and innovative way.
Yes, I love it. And I think it's so true. I think too often, we're worried about the kids being able to handle it, but the truth is, I think we can handle it, because the kids can handle it. They got this. And before long, they're teaching you how to do it. I mean, I went to elementary school, not quite with that little of littles, but even with the third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders, it's the same way. They're natives. This is their language. We're learning to speak their language.
Yes, we are.
So bringing that into the classroom, marrying it with the content, it only increases engagement, and it also empowers them to feel like, I can do this. And when they also get to teach us something, they're like, I just taught my teacher something. Like, that feels good as a little kid.
Yes. And another thing that I tell educators is, if you're apprehensive, start small. Pick one tool, pick one thing, and pick one content area, and just focus on that. And from there, like you said, the little ones, they will teach you, they will kind of guide the way, they will guide your path. And you'll be amazed at what you will eventually end up doing and the road you'll end up taking.
Yeah, and I think just the creativity, it's off the charts. Once we give them this tool and we allow them to explore it in interesting ways, what the unique products that they end up coming up with are did you find that to be true in your kindergarten class?
Oh, definitely. I would give them, a specific direction, and just, how creative and where they would go with it would be amazing.
It's like better than you can ever imagine, right?
Yes.
Yes. I know. And I loved it when parents would come in and talk to me, and I'm like, I wish I could say I dreamt all this up and I knew they were going to kind of go in this direction, but had no clue we were going to create something so outstanding,
Definitely. Yeah. Even my little ones, you just reminded me, and I talk about it in the book. But we would do Twitter Tuesday every Tuesday at my school, and we would organize prompts around common themes. And every Tuesday we would have a prompt, and students would tweet, and it kind of blew up into this big thing, which you get read more about in the book. But one of my little ones was like, oh, well, why can't we use Twitter to, find out the answer to what happens in this Mercer Mayer book? And from there, I was like, okay, well, let's tweet him. And so we ended up tweeting him. We ended up engaging in this conversation. He ended up doing an actual read aloud for all of the primary students in my building. He did a Q&A. He actually drew one of his little critters characters. And this was all possible because of, technology. And we wouldn't have been able to connect with him otherwise. And because my little one actually put that out there.
Yeah. It's crazy, amazing how they think of it. And yes. I think that was the same with book snaps. We would snap out and we would share with the author, what we were thinking with our book snap, with the students. And before you know it, we're having a Google Hangout with Peter Reynolds, and he's teaching us all kinds of wonderful things about writing a book. And it's so true, though. I mean, you just have to give them the tools, let them explore this creative gene that's in them already, instead of squashing it, open it wide open and allow them to just be creative. And so with the Building Blocks book, I feel like this book is just kind of the spark to this big fire, right? For all the educators out there that are working with the primaries, that are working with the littles, that are thinking, okay, how do we take this to the next level? Or if you're just getting started, as Mia said earlier, this book is for you as well. So Mia, what are your hopes for this book when it gets in the hands of all the readers? The best case scenario, what are your hopes that this book will do and transform and create for learners out there? That's a big loaded question.
Yeah, my hope is really that you can use technology, that I can inspire people to really integrate and use those tools to just move beyond the basics and to really empower their students, to use technology to amplify their voices and to empower them to really create and become agents by using this technology. So that's kind of my goal there. It's also, so by seeing the power in this tool, you being a voice also in your schools and in your districts, and talking to your principals and your chiefs and letting them know what is possible with the littlest learners, how they can be tiny techies as well, and how we need to get the technology in the hands of our littlest ones, so it's not just for the older kids, and all of the amazing things that they can do with it, and how like it really, like, doing so. I think oftentimes, especially, so I worked in the inner city, in Chicago, and a lot of times in some of the schools that I worked, like the ones that I worked in, there was a focus on like those test prep skills and those kind of bridging this achievement gap, but really seeing the power in technology to foster those critical thinking skills and those higher order thinking skills, and how in turn, when you do that is in turn is what's going to really close that gap.
So true. So true. I couldn't say amen enough, honestly. I love that. And I think it's a great book. And I honestly think this is that's exactly what this resource is going to do out there in the world. And thank you, Tish, for saying this resource is going to make a difference in a lot of lives. And I think that's really true. So if you're out there, or friends, colleagues that are working with the littlest of learners and they need some support when it comes to technology, well, we've got the book for you. Dave has dropped the link over in the comment section. It's also above this video in both places. Or if you're watching on YouTube, I think it's below the video. But either way, you can find the link. You can find our resources. You can find this book on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. It's a fantastic piece that you need to add to your collection of professional development. If you are an admin or a library media specialist, put this in your professional library. This needs to be there. This can help a lot of teachers at this time. And also when we go back to quote unquote normal teaching, this is what Mia used to do in her classroom face to face. I mean, it hasn't always been remote. It hasn't always been hybrid, but now is the time, right, to start learning these things. And so Mia, if people want to connect with you on social media, or they have questions for you once they get the book and they want to share, or maybe they want to learn more about this tiny tech tips hashtag, I know that's her hashtag she's using for the book as well, how might they connect with you?
Yes, you can connect with me on Twitter at Mrs. Leonard K. And then you can also connect with me on my website, which is, let me pull that up, actually.
I can drop the link over in the comment section.
If you can drop the link to the website, that would be great. But yes, Mrs. Leonard K on Twitter is the best way to get in touch with me.
Perfect. And I have your website too, so I'll drop that over there. We also, if you are looking for the book and you're looking for more resources, Mia will be hosting a TLAB chat soon, so stay on the lookout for that. It's coming up. And then she will also be doing some guest posts on our website, daveburgessconsulting.com. So you definitely want to check those out. We'll be sharing some of the tips from her book, just a tip. Just a few tips. So if you really want the whole real deal, you got to get out there and get you one. But for right now, if you haven't left a comment over in the comment section, do go at least drop your name over there, because every single comment is entered to win a free book of choice from Dave Burgess Consulting, Inc. So what you'll need to do is just drop a comment over in there. You have until tomorrow morning, which is January 28th, 21, and 8 a.m. we'll be choosing some winner to get our party favor for this book birthday. So Mia, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the DBC.
Thank you.
We are happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
We're so excited. And if you guys do purchase the book, please do share out your interest,
Yes.
share out your thoughts, share out your interests. Use the hashtag TinyTechTips. Be sure and tag Mia, tag us, and we'll make sure that we give it a lot of love and get you some help. If you have questions, you're trying something out in your classroom, Mia is a perfect resource for you. So thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you, everybody.
Super excited. Happy book birthday.